Welcome everyone to the June 2024 Evergreen Cataloging Interest Group. I am Jennifer Weston, the facilitator of this fine group. And as always, on behalf of the organizing committee, whose names are listed at the top of the agenda, we welcome you. I always try to see if we have fresh names, faces here. I think I know all of you and you've attended a meeting before, but as a quick just note for the good of the order, our meeting agenda here will turn into our notes. It is already posted to the wiki, and the recording will be posted to the wiki, I would say within two to 3 days, but I'm going on vacation. So within a week, I will have this up and posted the recording. If not before, but at least in a week. So thank you all for being here today. We've got today not necessarily a presentation. What we've got instead for our plan is we'll go through our usual just standing agenda items. And we're going to celebrate 313 came out last week. Is it really just last week? So we're first going to celebrate that. Woohoo! And then we're going to look at I love looking over and people are dancing around. That's just fabulous. This is the reason we keep cameras on. But we're going to look at a couple of specific things from 313 to demo them, first of all, just to celebrate them, and then also to get some feedback on at least one bug, if not more, related to 313. And then we're also going to talk about these staff catalog blockers that have been around for a while and see if they're truly still blockers and provide a little more input about those that are still lingering. I have 9 of them now. One thing I may not have pointed out recently, this link for this program will just pop you down to the part of the agenda that is just the program. That's the only place it goes. It just makes it easier for me to keep the 2 parts of the agenda separate. But that's all that does. Is it just moves you down from the brief agenda to the actual part of the program that's not part of our standing items. So that said, I'm going to run through just our standing agenda items pretty quickly here, so that we can spend as much time as we possibly can talking about 313 and the second part of this with the bugs. So first of all, we've already celebrated 313 came out. Congratulations again. And congratulations to our community and thanks to the release team. And their names are listed here below. There's your 313 release team. And I guess you can see me highlighting that. So whether they're here or not, we want to thank Blake and Bill Erickson and Shula and Stephanie and Andrea, whose last names are listed there so that they can be fully recognized. So thanks to all of you for putting together 313 and rather quickly too on the heels of 312. So marvelous job. And that said, 314 is already got a release team. So thank you to Ruth, who is here today. Thank you, Ruth. And Jason Stevenson and Josh Stombro and Jessica Wolford. I'm not sure if she's here with us, but thanks to all of you for taking on 314. These other things are just our standard links. Link to the latest releases. I've updated that, so it's always got the most recent list of point releases that are there on our wiki, even though you can find it other places. Links to official docs. Community server is still on 312 as of this morning, so we'll work on getting that updated too. A one mea culpa note about tabular release notes. They still are not updated. I promised last month I would be working on those. I've been thinking about those, and that is the first step in working on them. So the thinking part is now done, and I will graduate to actually doing something. I do have time set aside the last week of this month, so that by the time we meet in July, they'll be updated. That said, if anybody wants to help update tabular release notes on a regular basis, I am accepting volunteers every day of the week. If you want to send me a note and let me know that's something you might be interested in working on. So
I'll go ahead and add to that note by saying that this is a great way to get your feet wet because you're not creating, you're really just co-locating more or less the existing release notes into a easier to digest format. So if you're out there looking for a way to get involved, this would be a good one.
Thank you for that, Andrea. Excellent point. And it really is just that, doing what we as catalogers do best. We take information and we format it in a way that's easily discoverable and digestible. And it's just all right there. We can just search it all at once, which is the really fun thing about the tabular release notes. If you're trying to remember when did that thing come out, it's a quick way to find out. And it's a community service. Moving on to celebrations, we've celebrated 313. There's the blog post, excellently written with some brief descriptions of what's included in 313. And of course, the full release notes are there. won't spend a lot of time on this map that I am enjoying very much, other than to say, if you find that your location is not yet on our map, this map is a map of where we are. It's anonymous to the extent of it's just about where in the states in the country you can find us as catalogers. If your location is not on this map, and let me kind of scroll, we get all the way from the Pacific Northwest across to Ontario, and then down through the rest of the country, all the way down to, I guess, maybe Atlanta. You might be as far south as we go. But the list is here. I've gone back and I've reworked it just a little because I find this just a lot of fun and quite therapeutic sometimes. But I've organized it alphabetically by state, Canada being the top, and then by states in the US. So if you're not there, a good way to get added to this calendar, to the map, is to just put your name on this list here. And then it doesn't automatically update, but I will update that. So just drop your name at the bottom of the list if you don't see your area located. Again, anonymous in that you don't have to provide your name, just city and state and country, and I will find you and put you on the map. Yeah. Ontario's ON. Oh, thanks, Carol. I may just do that. So moving on. Stephanie, you're further south. Stephanie, anybody that joins the cataloging interest group can be added to the list. You don't have to be a cataloger. I should say that much more often. I am glad you made a note. So this is the cataloging interest group list. Anybody that joins a meeting, and of course it's open to everybody, is welcome to have their name added to the map. Catalogers and friends. So let's move on to sharing library upgrades. Anybody, and I won't read the whole list. I should say that everybody that is here and has access to this agenda also has access to edit this agenda and notes. So feel free to make your own notes for your library there. Anybody upgraded since we last met in May? If you want to, or planning to upgrade since we last met in May. Anything you want to share?
We're upgrading tonight to 312.
Elizabeth, that's fabulous. That's so exciting. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we'll hear how it went next time. So Noble, you are upgrading. Right. It's a good day for it. Will, you're not upgrading until November. So let's drop it up there. And Will, what are you going to when you upgrade? November to 313. I'll just change your note there. And Pale tentatively always upgrades in November, or what seems to be the odd number release. So Pale's probably November. Yeah, I can see where we did that last fall. So it'll probably be 313. We'll just say plans to upgrade. I'm going to put 313. Yeah, that's your plan anyway. In November-ish.
Yes, that's the plan.
November-ish, 2020. Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Got Will Pines won't be until February 2025, and of course she'll be on 314 because that'll be out and ready by 2025. Oh, exciting. I want to point out which maybe it was Mike Rylander here who said, of course, 314 is going to have a very, very special celebration.
There will be pie.
Pie.
There will be pie.
There will be so many celebrations of the pie release.
Yeah.
And I promise you one of them will be right here at Cataloging Institute. We'll
No,
suggest
it'll be before that. I wish it could be on Pie Day, but it'll definitely be before that. That's too late.
Well, it'll be Pie Day, whatever day you release it.
As I say, all of a sudden I feel like something's been put into the universe.
It's there. It's a good thing.
I don't know. That's March of 2025, though.
No, we don't want that.
No, we do not want that. It'll be the fall of 2024.
And that day will be Pie Day.
And we'll have so much pie. It'll be the season of pie.
Yeah.
Season of life of pie, not just like Oh my
See,
goodness,
I like
I said life
Stephanie's
of
note.
pie.
Any day can be pie day if you believe in yourself and your ingredients.
That's right.
Yeah, and it actually may end up that this fall ends up being 4.0 anyway. So sorry, guys.
I
You know
mean,
what? I like Carol's note or your local store. Mhm.
Which,
Support your
I mean,
local
I guess
baker.
is on the release team to determine if this will be 314 or 4.0.
Oh, don't rob us of pie. Come on.
I'm not
there
on the
are-
release team this time.
there
Ruth,
are
don't
many
rob us
things
of pie.
happening.
There, yeah.
Many things
We'll probably
happening.
discuss it at the meeting at 3,
It'll
the next
be
meeting.
like
At
all of
3,
the
yeah.
interstates around me that have multiple names. It can be 4.0, but it will also be 3.0. All right.
What we need is an authority file.
We need
Yes, we
pie.
do. Okay.
And
Let's-
there are also some major components that may make it into 4.0 that would not make it into 3.14.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yes. Okay. I think I'm caught up on chat, and there's some just notes about what might go into 3.14 or 4.0. We appreciate the release team and the devs doing the work. And one way or the other, we'll have pie.
so
Whether we
much
see a
pie.
3.14. So much pie. Okay, well, I'm digressing anyway. We're having peach pie tonight. My husband is baking. Just saying, I'm going to celebrate in advance. We've
And I'm
shared
reading
way
about
too much.
cherry picking, so maybe cherry pie.
There you go. Mhm.
We're gonna have pizza pie tonight for dinner.
Nice.
That works. Oh my gosh, it's the middle of the month and we're just off. Okay, Taryn has mulberries and a mulberry glass.
Karen, do you have the good kind of mulberries or the bad kind of mulberries? Because I have the bad kind of mulberries. I'm really mad about it.
I have both actually. I have
Okay.
four, well, I actually have at least three different kinds, only one of which I planted, and the one I planted is not the one that the labeling said it was going to be, so it's a
Oh.
mediocre kind. But most of the ones are bad. But there's one really good one that's actually in my neighbor's yard, but one branch hangs over in my yard, so I go out and collect
That's
every day and freeze them
right.
until I get enough.
That's
And
right.
Taryn,
Adverse
can I
possession.
just say how much I love the fact that you use the word galette in a sentence, and also I'm hungry.
Oh, galettes are so much easier to make than pies.
They are.
Is it like a cobbler if, you're
It's
from my part of the South?
it's like a pie,
It's
but
like a
it
big
doesn't have a
floppy
pie
piece
pan.
of dough,
Yeah,
and you
it-
kind of flop
Yeah,
it over
you
the
just fold the
filling.
edges up.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
And
you don't
it-
need
nice.
as much fillings.
Yes, freeform
Right.
crust is right.
Yeah.
That's fun. Oh,
And
I
you
could
can
do
make them
that.
savory. I
But if you
actually
say
usually make savory
galette,
galettes.
galette makes it sound like it's way more involved
Yeah,
than it
it's
is.
French.
It's French.
That's fun.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I also love that Taryn is continuing to be enjoying the community she lives in. Because, that branch is definitely part of her community. She's just gathering. Libby wants to know what makes your mulberries good or bad while we're on the conversation. We're here to
well,
inform.
some of them, the ones that I have are both invasive and non-edible
Oh,
by
that's
humans. The birds
Oh.
love them, which is good, except that means the birds also spread them, and they're not the native mulberry, so that's bad.
Yeah,
And
mine
they're
are.
basically like a weed in my yard, and they are
Yeah.
very, very hard to eradicate because they're very deep rooted, and they
Yeah.
laugh at any. Like, there are a few things that I will use herbicide on, and one of them is the Asian mulberries, and they just laugh and then get angry and bigger
Yeah.
when I try to kill them with triclopyr.
My
That's
bad
really
ones are technically edible, but they're so tiny that they're not worth picking.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny is that there's a big tree in my neighbor's yard on the north side of my house, and this is the time of year when they fall and will start to ferment. And so it smells like booze on the north side of my house, but it is not my fault.
Mhm.
But it's just I like to imagine that the birds and the squirrels are getting hammered off of the fermenting mulberries or whatever.
At my mom's old house in Oregon, she had these big berry bushes that would ferment. I forget what kind they were, but they weren't something that humans would eat. But the
Right.
cedar waxwings loved them, and so she always had to deal with an entire drunk flock of cedar waxwings every
Oh
year.
my goodness.
Had to
It's amazing.
lock all the animals in the house so they didn't get out there.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Wow.
we have fish crows, and they seem to be too smart to eat the fermented berries, which is a shame because I feel like a drunken flock of crows would be incredible.
Make crows even a little more unhinged.
Right? Well, no, I feel like
It's
now I have a new goal for the web.
Mhm. Well, I'll bring us back, but we do want to wish a little bit of luck to Sharon, who has just planted a trader mulberry this spring. So good luck with your mulberry. What is Ruth? Okay, I have to click on a Ruth link. So hold on. There you go. There's your
Oh, it's
white
just,
mulberry.
yeah, it's just
Mhm.
it's the demon seed.
Uh-huh.
It's not everywhere. It's not demon seed everywhere, like where it's actually native. I'm sure that it's well loved and
Well, East Asian plants tend to be particularly invasive in Eastern North America because of climatological and soil similarities.
of
So
course.
the more you know, some of like our
Yep.
worst, as a mid-Atlantic gardener, I can tell you our hands down our worst invasives are Japanese and Eastern Chinese
Mhm.
plants. So unfortunately, and some of them are beautiful and hardy to this area, which is why they were originally introduced. So
Before we learn to appreciate the things that were actually here and protect them.
Right.
Anyway, that's a different conversation. Sorry. We can talk about colonialism another time.
We could, and I almost did that because I saw that they were, the history of the mulberry, and I quickly closed it because
Uh-huh.
that was not, no, we would be here way too
Mhm.
long. Not talking about catalogs. Continue in chat if you'd like. I'm going to move on with the agenda though. Next part of the agenda is talking about interest groups, which we could have, just a mulberry interest group. Why not? I think I have everything updated on here. There've been quite a few small adjustments in interest group meeting times because it's summer and holidays happen and other things happen. So if any of this is incorrect, please let me know, or you're welcome to just update it. I do have a link to the Unified Community Calendar as always. I think I have everything updated as of yesterday. It's correct on here. Just a note about some of the things that changed. Documentation interest group has moved. The calls of the week of the 4th has moved to the 11th. It's not going to meet on the first Thursday. It will move a little later in the month. And Taryn, the new developers group's not meeting this month, correct? They're going to meet in July.
Yes, it's Juneteenth holiday in the
Right.
US for most states anyway.
So they just pick up in July. Stephanie's dropped a note for the UI group meeting. Scroll down a little bit. They're going to be talking about keyboard shortcuts. Ooh, that's something. It's being able to find those intuitively. So I'm going to drop that. While I'm talking, Elizabeth, you're here. Oh, that's exactly, you anticipated my question. Elizabeth is sharing the new Evergreen admin group, the date of that. So I'm going to copy that in here. You meet third Tuesday of each month at 2. Elizabeth, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Updating notes.
Sure. It's for folks who are administrators more on the client side, rather than back-end database management administrators. So if you have ever wanted to talk to other, support desk people or client administrators, join us. I don't have the date in front of me. Okay, hold on a minute.
But does this mean like the word
29th.
cron job will not be used and that kind of thing?
They may be used, but it may be in the context of what is a cron job and
Okay.
why do you need one?
How do you get your system administrator to deal with cron jobs?
Yeah.
So third Tuesday, the 18th of this month.
Yeah, I have the wrong date on the website now that I'm looking at it, but I will fix that. It will be the 18th.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I did say continue talking about. Okay. I see, like Andrew's how I learned to stop worrying and love the cron job. Okay, fantastic. And I think I've gotten caught up in notes. Anything else about any of the interest groups we want to share to get into the notes? We'll talk a little about working group here. Carol, do you want Carol's? I think just Carol, you're with us. You want to say anything about authorities working group now that we're meeting regularly again?
We met for an informal working meeting on at the end of May 30th, was it?
Sounds
And
about right.
that did end up turning into a bit more discussion than working. But we are meeting again this week on 13th at 2 p.m., which I don't actually have in my calendar, so I should probably do that. Which is why I'm not actually, able to tell you the exact time.
It's at 2 p.m. Eastern.
That's what I thought.
Mhm.
So everyone is welcome.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Libby, who's with us today from KCLS. She's a recent addition to the authorities working group, and she is being an excellent liaison with King County and some of the standalone things that they have, not standalone, some of the things that they have created, that Bill Erickson's created for their libraries and working with authorities. And he's going to be joining us. Libby, I don't remember. Did we say August? To demo a custom report?
I can't remember if it was August or September. No.
Coming soon,
Let me
Bill
check.
Erickson to the cataloging interest group to talk about custom authorities work. There will be an announcement, but there you go. There's your first, I'm not going to say warning, that's the wrong word. But yeah,
let's see.
Yeah, Libby will give us an answer. But so next meeting is, let me copy and paste here, June 13th.
Oh, I think that meeting is on August 13th.
Okay.
With Bill
August
joining us. I think.
Okay.
Yes. The other dates didn't work out, so he will be on board with the CIG meeting on August 13th.
There we go.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Yay.
Then we'll announce it to the list. So again, we'll be looking at that custom authorities new headings report.
Yes.
Yep. And seeing, I know we talked about this probably a year ago now, but see if we can't move it into the larger community to start using. Looking forward to that in August.
Woohoo.
Thanks, Libby and Carol. Anything else about any of the groups? Any announcements at all? Before we keep going on, I'm going to skip over Launchpad bugs because that's a big part of our conversation for the rest of the day. Watch it. What? Yeah, so for the rest of the day, we're going to look at the Mark Editor redesign, and I'm going to turn this over to Andrea to talk about that. And then there's a bug that we need to discuss a little to get a little more insight on before we talk about the blocker bugs. So Andrea, if you're ready, here's my quick lob to you to start demoing the Mark Editor. And we should say Stephanie's here with us, who did the redesign. So, woohoo.
May I have screen sharing privileges?
May. Absolutely. Then you have to make you host to do that, but that works. Here you go.
All right. Wait, now I have so many other links.
You have all of the links.
There we go. Okay. All right. Please confirm that you are seeing my screen. It is the Evergreen splash screen.
Yes.
Okay. So we are gonna look at the new Mark Editor. Yay. I will keep an eye on chat, and also please feel free to pop in with your microphone and ask me any questions. I am not a cataloger, but I play one in development. And I'm just gonna show you guys some basics with the new Mark Editor. If there's anything specifically that you would like me to demonstrate, please let me know.
So this is 313, and I am logged in with a cataloger account. And I am looking for my favorite record, which is Christoph Penderecki's Violin Concerto, because this is a one-hit record in concerto. And also, I, at one point in college, as a music major, had to write a report on this man, and I never forgot how to spell his last name. So there we go. Very weird modern composer, in case any of you are interested. So this is, your standard record view. And here is the shiny new mark editor. Actually, I'm going to reduce my screen size just a little bit to see anything in here. Oh, and thank you. Taryn has put in the comment that her test server is rebuilt and publicly available. Thank you, Taryn. Butternut is Butternut is one of Equinox's bug squash servers. It is not currently publicly available. It is up, waiting for me to basically grab a few more screenshots of this and cross-check some of my documentation stuff for 313. So please don't count on Butternut being around much longer. We will, of course, reactivate it for bug squashing weeks as we do. Anyway, some of the cool things about this is that, we've made this a lot more accessibility and keyboard friendly. So there's all this contrast you can see with the highlighting, what box you're in. We have the ability to add or replace same shortcuts that were there before. There's the undo and redo actions here. Stack subfields, if you like that. And this did not touch any of the flat text editors. So if there are those of you who use a flat text editor, we have not touched that with this work. And of course, validate, and then help gives you all of your keyboard shortcuts there. So I don't actually like stacking subfields, so I'm going to do this. If you hover over a line, it will highlight it in contrasting color. Here is your link to create an authority. Here is your link to add another subfield. And then this will give you, when you select that, you can move it up and down. So I'm using the keyboard right now to move this row, but you can also use this as a drag handle. And there's me using it as a drag handle, but obviously it's in the correct place, so I want to leave it there. This button lets you copy, and then this will let you add a new field after this. And then this will delete the field. So oops, that was deleting the subfield. I'm going to delete this field because I didn't want to add it there. So yeah, this is, I'm going to show you guys how to add a field and to add a subfield. So we're going to add a field afterwards, and I'm going to make it another 500 field because why not? And oops, I over-tabbed myself. I'm going to do A, and we're going to do this is another note. Yay. And let's say I wanted to validate my headings. I would like to validate. And here is the styling for invalid headings. You can see where it is not found the correct an authority record, and the authority validation failed. So if we want to do that, we click here, and this will give you the manage authority links. And I'm just going to do create new authority immediately. Oop, and I did not, I did not put that. Oh no, I did. I named it test. That's the name of our source. I usually put it my initials or something, but obviously this is whatever you have named your source here. It is not going to be a test. It's going to be, typically a short name in your catalog. And if you haven't set it, it will say, give you this long string of text says you need to set this value in library settings. Anyway, you can do the same thing here for concertos, violin, and yes, that should, that is a uniform title, 730, which I feel like aren't those supposed to go in 130 now? this is a kind of an old record, but I used to be a music cataloger a million years ago. Anyway, so I've created my authorities, and now when I validate, everything is nice and clean, and you get this nice little check that says authority validation succeeded. So, and a nice thing about these is that you're getting visual cues for both color for cited for both color as well as in the form of a check or an X if somebody is colorblind. So this is another accessibility improvement. And as Stephanie said, all of the actions that you used to reach by right-clicking now have their own buttons, which enables you to tab over to them. So this is me tabbing through them with my keyboard and then shift tab back into it. And that lets you preserve kind of that keyboard friendly workflow. So, and again, oh, sorry, I did that twice, but control enter will create a new field. And, you can go through and do. So this will also autofill. So if I'm doing a subject, it will, if I type the 6, it will show me everything starting with a 6. If I add the 5, it will reduce that list, everything with a 6, 5. And then, 650 will obviously
Andrea,
populate that field. Yeah.
I don't think that you actually did do anything wrong. As I'm in here, control entering, it is creating 2 at a time.
All right, to the Bugmobile. But thank you.
You didn't mess anything up.
And thank you, Jennifer, for pointing out that validation correct. Validation is not validating against an external authority file. It is validating against your internal authority file. So what it's checking to see is if you have an internal matching authority record. So that's why when I created a new record from a new authority from this bib record, it took it and validated it. That's just me creating that authority. And you can do that on the fly and then go back and make it like a proper authority record, or if you've got a service that does that for you. But this is not doing external validation. This is validating against your internal authority file. And
am I correct in understanding too, there are no actual authorities in Concerto? There are no thesauri that have been.
They're not linked, but I just created a couple of them. There are some of them. Let's find out.
Because I could just look, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not. Okay. There you go. A lot of them are not linked, probably because the linking script hasn't been. But like this one is linked, and this is actually one that I created last week, doing a different test record. So, so this is my test record, and I created these, like I linked these myself. Mm-hmm. So those exist. So there are some that are linked, but I think stock Concerto, they are not
right
linked. Maybe you probably could link them if you ran the linking script. Anyway,
this is where I can make another plug for the authorities working group. We have a database that is linked and is put aside just for testing authorities, sponsored by King County. So if you're interested in that, we will share.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And if you're interested in acid-base equilibrium genetics, you can see that these same updates have the same mark editor updates exist in this mark editor as well. So this also has the new mark editor. And also in acquisitions. Let's see if we can find a purchase order. Oh, come on. Do we not have any purchase orders in this?
Not in Concerto.
Concerto?
No, they're in the enhanced Concerto.
No, that's not true. There are purchase orders somewhere.
I say you might have some.
Yeah, but we're just going to be lazy here and create a purchase order. Oh, you know what?
I was going to say, I don't know that acquisitions is set up on Concerto.
It's actually because I'm logged in a profile without acquisitions permissions.
Yep. Okay.
That is why. I can't see it because there are actually purchase orders that there are like 2 or 3 of them that come with stock concerto,
Yeah, let me.
but it's not going to let me do them or create them because of that. Anyway, I can show you what it looks like in acquisitions. I can switch to an acquisitions profile, but before I do that, does anyone have any specific questions about this?
Yes, if I could
Go
ask
for
them.
it.
Can you go back to the mark fields? It looks like part of the enhancement is tooltips, which I really like. I've used that in a previous ILS before.
Like that?
Yes. And I
Yeah.
thought it was very helpful for staff doing copy cataloging and learning.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
great teacher. Do you have any plans, or maybe I just didn't notice it, to take that further for indicators and subfields to have tooltips? Oh, they are there.
Yep.
Okay.
Subfields and
Okay.
then indicators.
Okay. Oh, you were moving quickly and I must have missed it.
I
Thank you for showing that.
apologize.
No, that's okay.
I did not actually show the indicators or the subfields really.
See, that's a great
specifically.
enhancement, honestly, to
Mhm.
have those marked tooltips for both
Yeah.
fields and indicators and subfields. That's
Right.
wonderful for staff, especially for copy catalogers and learning
Right.
a lot more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Excellent upgrade then.
I still can never remember 245.0 versus 1. Like I can't. You think I would. Like it's even makes sense. The 0 is no added entry. 1 is yes added entry, but for whatever reason my brain does not want to hang on to that piece of information. But yeah, so those are all there in all of the fields.
This is excellent because my staff misses these from where we moved from a different ILS.
And they're also
several
up
years
here
ago to
in the leader
Evergreen.
as well.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So
They are currently missing in authorities, but I think Britta Dorsey mentioned that she has that data for us, and we just need to kind of figure out how best to get that into an update so that everyone can have it.
Also, we have a cataloging error. Look at that.
Uh-oh. I wanted to mention though that this those suggestions depend on having updated tag table data.
Correct.
And that is a fairly painful upgrade process because tag tables are stored not in the workstation, but in your local browser data. And so even after your system has upgraded to 3.13, everybody has to go to their user settings and delete a bunch of settings and then reload the mark editor, because what happens was they pulled down tag table data eons ago and it's still sitting there. It doesn't have an expiration date. So you have to force it to update. And if you don't do that, these suggestions have a lot of missing data. And it really exposes what was missing from our old tag table data.
Right.
So it's kind of a painful upgrade process, and I'm sorry, there was really no way to get around that.
It was a painful development process too for the tag tables. So, yeah, Kate, did you have a particular fixed field? Because like I said, this is, again, it's going to depend on your tag tables data, but if there's one that, you were looking for, like
Yeah,
this.
I just know currently you can right click on this stuff currently, and some of them have them and some of them don't.
Okay. So to be clear, this is also left. This is left click. Like every time I'm clicking in one of these, and it shows all of these. It's a left click and not a right click. So that is a change, like a workflow change.
Yeah, there's basically nothing attached to right click anymore.
Yeah, it's now just a browser right click, so you can see,
Yeah,
it gives you the browser shortcuts, not Evergreen shortcuts.
Now, the other thing that's weird about fixed fields is that we did have to take a couple of them out and disable the suggestions on them for now. And I believe we discussed this a little bit on the list. There are some fixed fields that have like up to 4 characters that you fill in, and each one of those it needs its own separate dropdown. And we didn't have a good way to do that in this version, like in this first round of development. So there are 3 or 4 fixed fields where we just took out the suggestions altogether because we didn't have a way to support multiple inputs, if that makes sense.
Like this. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a acquisitions profile. So I can show you this in acquisitions. Yes. Now, there's my purchase orders. All right. So here we are in acquisitions. And if we look here, you can see your mark view, and then this is the embedded mark editor. And of course, the warning that this is updating only the line item record and not the cataloged record, unless of course you do this, do that update when you place an order. But this particular mark record is not, you're not editing the in catalog mark record live, you're just editing the data that's attached to the line item. So that is also available there. And yeah, we go to here. All right, I can't add anything that's already on there. Anyway, yep, so that's what it looks like in acquisitions. I'm trying to think other places where it is. Did it go in the Z search? I should know this, but I don't.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
It is in Z search. It is not in create new bib record for now.
Oh, wait, I want that. Oh.
And yes, Z search is very different. That was part
Yeah.
of the acquisitions update in 3.13.
Yes. That is a separate update, but so this is in Z search. This is, edit for import has the same. But yeah. Any questions, comments?
That was a
Z search. Yes. Serious question. Do you guys actually spell that out in this, or is it just understood that that is the pronunciation? I legit don't know. I'm a legit.
That is the pronunciation.
But it's not typed out as Z30 ZED in this heading.
No, it already says Z there.
Yeah. That's
the
pronunciation of the character.
I didn't.
I love Will's answer.
All right. Good job, guys.
I think there was a good distinction that the create bib record has not been updated yet. That is still in AngularJS, and there's some buggy things that we've been noticing. So hopefully that will be migrated soon or rewritten soon.
Yeah. That well, now that this is the last, and so for those that to what Ruth is saying, this is create new mark record, which is still in AngularJS, which we did not touch. But now that the new record is available, it should be a fairly minor process for any community developer to wire that up. It's the new editor. And yes, I appreciate the wit of it already says Z. I asked for that. I had that. So. All right. But yes, this was not part of our work, to be clear.
Right.
But I think that's
And I should know this, but I'm going to ask anyway. So the release notes will have all of the information but the information that Stephanie shared about needing to update the tag tables when you do the upgrade. Is that a warning note in the release notes?
No, because that's not specifically related to this release necessarily. That's just, a thing that you have to do to keep your tag tables in order.
Okay.
But it certainly, I can make sure to put a note in the in the documentation. It's I don't see it. These are the upgrade notes.
Okay.
But this is also, here it is in the release notes. And there will be documentation for this. It is not out there yet, and that is on me because May was the month of chaos. I had, well, April and May. I was at like 4 different conferences. I was out sick. I was on the release team. I don't think I did, much the way of my actual job outside of release team and conference work.
And this is a sympathetic group. So
yes.
No worries.
And Jennifer is my supervisor, in case anyone's wondering. So it's not like she didn't know this. But yeah, so there is documentation for this forthcoming that will be out there in the community doc sheet, though.
I'll just make a note on our modest little notes from today then.
Yeah, and we will make sure to update or to make it clear what the upgrade process is going to be, because like I said, it was kind of a pain.
Yes, but we appreciate the pain that you went through to give us a beautiful thing.
If you see Mike Rylander at a conference, buy him a drink, because it seemed when we were, planning this out that it was going to be very straightforward to use those combo boxes to have the suggestions for the fields, and it turned out not to be simple at all.
Yes, when you buy him a drink, you have to say combo box, and you have to say it like con.
Yes, you have to do the whole Star Trek
combo box.
Combo box. We have multiple memes in our internal Slack now for railing against combo box. It was not a fun time for any of us.
It was not a fun time.
We're really happy with how it turned out.
Nice. Did one of you, by the way, write down that bug about the double entry?
I wrote down to make a note, but
I will write it down right now.
I have made it. Yeah.
All of us. The answer.
I was going to say all of us are writing it down on paper, so sooner or later it will. Make its way into Launchpad.
Do you mind when somebody files that bug, sending it out to the list?
Sure.
So we can,
Yep.
amplify the message.
Got it.
Okay. So we have about 10 minutes left. Why don't we do this instead of tackling the blockers, which I would just encourage, since there are 9 of them. I mean, I've got them listed on the agenda, so we can individually go through them. And if there are particular notes we want to make, we can do that, or toss questions to the list. Andrew, do you mind holding on to the con and showing that flat text bug that we wanted to talk about for a moment and get a little input from people that might be using the flat text editor?
Oh, yes. So you want me to reshare?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know this is, I saw that it had been confirmed by some catalogers, but I did not. This was a new one on me. Not that that really means much. But let's look at the agenda.
Get it right under your, the second thing under programming.
That. I didn't know this was a thing. How many, but I also, so when I did do cataloging, I would often use the enhanced editor. I mean, and this was back in the Zool days, but I also, how many of you, I'm curious, is there a general preference for the flat text editor versus the enhanced editor among catalogers?
Yeah, we're about a 50-50 split here every time we take a survey. At least 50% of the room it uses flat text.
And I use both of them 50% of the time when I'm cataloging.
Okay.
Yeah, these answers a lot of flat text.
Yeah.
I only ever used flat text when I had to like wholesale copy like a complex record from the Library of Congress or whatever. I mean, and this was like, okay, so I should clarify that by saying I know there are better tools to do that now, but this was in like 2007 or 8. Evergreen back in the day. Right. So I just wanted to see this. So let's go back to Penderecki. Let's go back to Penderecki.
think my percentage may have
And
been
it was
wrong,
feet of
though.
clay. Sorry.
I was thinking it looks like just from the answers today, it looks like my percentage is a little off. I think we have a majority flat text users here today.
Which fascinates me. Like it really
Oh,
does. 'Cause
Jessica proves me wrong. Thanks, Jessica.
All right.
Nope. She proved me right. Never mind. I misread hers. I'm going to stop digressing. Let's look at this one.
All right.
Let's stop talking.
So, yeah. So did
Mhm.
you all then encounter? So it noted in 312 that it doesn't work. So, and then Carol, you confirmed it in 3.7, or that you confirmed that it works, excuse me, in 3.7. So there's an indeterminate.
No, it does not work when editing an existing record.
When editing, it works when,
Like
oh, that's
he
right, 'cause
said.
catalog, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometime between 3.2 and 3.7.4.
Gosh, I don't think we even have systems that I don't think I have a 3.6 that I can look at. Well, doesn't
That's
really
why I
matter.
decided to test it, just
Mhm.
because I
Yeah.
knew we were so behind.
Right. Well,
Never knew that it actually did that because I just assumed flat text acted as text.
me too.
Anyway,
So I assumed that it was
so
straight text.
yeah,
But yeah, so
it's
let's
cool that it did.
I
Yeah,
doubt
I
that it
had
does
no
it here
idea.
too. Like, let's find it. Oh, right. I turned my keyboard off because the cat was walking across it.
Jessica added a note that he used to supply the
No.
equal symbol automatically at the beginning of a line.
That's it say, yeah.
Yeah, no, see when I
Oh, yes, that's right. It did used to. I do
Yeah, it
remember
doesn't.
that. Like you didn't
Well-
like type it in, but if you like went to the next line, it would create an equal sign there.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
right. I do remember, but I remember that actually from Zool.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you
I
can
don't-
tell how
I don't
long it's
remember
been
it
since
from
I
the
used
web
flat text
client.
editor. It may very well. Well, no, somebody said it was working. The original poster said it was working 3.2. Okay. So yeah, somewhere between 3.2 and 3.7, but that's irrelevant because we can assume that it doesn't work in 3.11, 3.12, and 3.13, which are the current versions in support. So that is where the fix would need to happen. And yes, since we didn't change anything with the text editor, tabbing from this just takes you to, nope, that's the caps lock button, Andrea. It just takes you to focus the save changes button.
I would be willing to bet a significant amount of money that it has never worked in the web interface and that this feature was only available in Zool.
Well, 3.2 though is the web client.
But
Is it?
but people were using the web client for partial things and the downloadable client at the same time during
Right.
that time. Do you remember? When they're like cataloging doesn't work, we're using only the Zool client for cataloging, and that was 3.0 through at least 3.2.
Okay, maybe does anybody know this person, Rietveld? So I can ask on the bug if they were using.
I feel like I was talking to them just the other day, actually, because
if they were using 3.2 in the web client, or if they were using 3.2 Zool. Because you're right that might have been in that transition period. It was before the web client was like, before the Zool client was like completely broken.
Mhm.
So they might have been doing it.
Because I think this was also the person that they put in a bug just recently, we were working on it in IRC, that when you're using the create mark record, which of course AngularJS, you can't quick add.
Right. I don't think their theory here is correct though.
Oh no.
Because the AngularJS, there was 3.0 had the AngularJS, had the mark editor in AngularJS.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I
That
don't
was
think that it
available
does
as of
either.
3.0.
I'm just saying, I think I recognize this is the person that I was
sure
talking to. They exist. They're real.
I'm assuming that they are real, yes. But thanks for confirming the reality of this.
It's the internet. Are we any of us real?
AI filing bugs.
Andrea, can you try? Chrissy says that she's got a workaround here. If you put in a new blank line, then click over to another tab to copy a line, and then come back, the equal shows up.
What?
She put it in the text there. If you put in a
I know, I'm
blank
reading it.
line
I'm just confused what it's
about
telling me
why
to
it would
do.
work. Yep.
Then
Do I
create
have to have
blank.
it open in two different tabs then?
You have another bib record open in another tab. As if you're copying from another bib record into that one. I think, Chrissy, correct me if
All
I'm wrong.
right. All right. Let's.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is if you're like copying from one record to another and you've put in that
Okay.
blank line and then you go over to get what you wanted to copy, when you come back, the equals will be there
Okay.
when it wasn't before.
That, and I'm going to copy, obviously, this. Wait, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look at this, but I'm pretty sure that this
Like, I mean, if I
flat
paste
text
it,
editor is just a plain unadorned,
Plain old flat
you know,
text. Yeah.
multi-line input field that
right.
really does nothing to assist you with what you're putting in. We can make it do a few things. I've looked before into adding syntax highlighting and color coding to this, but
At some point, that makes it not a flat text editor.
well,
Right.
yeah. Right now, browsers are a little not quite caught up to where they need to be with doing that in an editing field. I can very easily do it over in the Mark view, but not in the editor.
Right.
Okay, that's
Okay.
interesting, Chrissy. I will take a look at that.
If there, yeah, well, no.
I don't.
Yeah,
I know we're
we're
close.
Interesting things
please,
happening
please
there.
do not fall down that rabbit hole, Stephanie.
No.
We don't
No,
have
but
time.
We
You don't
don't.
have time.
I do want. Okay, we've got 2 more minutes. Can we try Natalie's thing there? Right there. If you enter the new field and save the record, then it adds the equal mark and indicators. Is that?
Oh no, that is very possible. Yes.
Yes. So just add a
So what
500
am I
or
doing?
520. Just add a 520
Sure.
that says
And I'm
anything.
saving it.
Yeah.
Oh,
There it is.
ta-da! All right. So it does do that.
That's magical.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks for that.
That's happening in the XML and not in the input field. Yeah.
I have to go because
Yeah.
the community developer meeting is coming up.
Same. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Thank you, Andrew. If you can make me a host before you disappear.
Sure, Jennifer. This is Butternut has just got the regular logins. If you still want to show anybody stuff,
Okay. Yeah, we'll just wrap up. I just want to take a few minutes to do so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Taryn. Thanks for everybody for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
And let me
appreciate your bug filing.
Make somebody.
It's me, and I've got the Evergreen
icon
there.
There are two. Yeah. Where are you people? There we are. Nope. Make host. Yes.
Yep.
Check. All right. I
I'm
got
the
to
host
run.
now. See you. Thank you
Bye,
so much.
everyone.
Bye. So for those of you still hanging around, I will, oops. Okay, I can't minimize Zoom. I get it. Let me find my screen just so we'll have something to look at. And then I did want to just share. Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Okay. Then these last things that we didn't get to, I just wanted to provide a little context for those of you that can have another minute to stick with me here. I've updated these on our wiki. So these are the 9, and I'll just take to calling them that. There are some of them that have notes on them that just need some additional testing, need some additional work. One of them's been broken out into 2 bugs. Some of them don't have anything on them at all. Let me be very, I don't know, cataloging interest group specific here. This standalone holdings template editor isn't getting anywhere. We talked about it a few times, and it's one of those things that the further we go with more and more changes to the various different screens we're working on, the more separate these two become. So I would like to bring this back to just the general list to start talking about all the reasons we would like to have a standalone holdings template editor, recognizing that this might take some dev work at this point because they're so very different. Let me just open the bug. This is now 2 years old. When the template editors moved to Angular, that's when I'm just going to say they got divorced because we no longer had the one that you could just get to through admin, the standalone template. There is a workaround in here that says if you really, really want to keep doing it the old way, here's how you can get there in your own system. I don't know how long that's going to be there or if that's even still true. So we need to test that. But we talked about this March of 2022. So it's been over 2 years now about why we really want this. And I guess before I start making big assumptions, is this something we still want or have we gotten used to now working with the templates just through the holdings editor and not standalone?
We find that the holdings editor, the templates get corrupted. So that's why we very much want the holdings template editor separate. And CW Mars has been talking about various work, but my computer is being very slow right now, so I can't see what we were discussing.
So I'll just make a note here then. About standalone template. What was our note before? No, number 2. Templates and holdings edit. Okay, I was just making it. Is that fair to say? The templates get corrupted because the workflow required to maintain them. It's so easy to mess up a template in the holdings editor.
I still think there's, because it's in the, kind of linked to having to get to a bib record and a holding in order to do that, that there's some link there that corrupts it.
Yeah.
And it, to me, doesn't make sense to have to go to a bib record and then a holding in order to change templates or update templates.
So hard to train. Go to a record, any record, doesn't matter a record, and then just start messing with templates. I'll just drop that in there. And I know we lost a lot of people at the top of the hour, so I'll ask for additional comments on that too. So we can at least get some eyes on it. So we don't want, I mean, right now we do have a workaround. I don't know that it's very well publicized. I'll do that as well. I'll verify if this is still working and drop it on the general list. I don't want us to get diverted by, and I know we do, but this whole extra things, the wish list here about being able to select multiple and all templates in the standalone editor. I love this idea very much. I also just want to keep the standalone editor. And if this is a wish list that we need to separate out the bugs, I would be okay with that. You have a separate wish list bug about being able to work with, being able to select one or more individually. Right now, if we can just get back to the functionality we had before, that would make me happy. All right, let's just that. And other than that, I would just say that as we have time, and especially as bug squashing week comes around next, if these aren't on the list, I say we put them on the list so that we can at least have conversations about the status of these and what it might take to get there. Some of them have workarounds, like can't place meta holds. Apparently you can, if you do a meta record search, you can place a meta hold, but that's the only way you can. So it's worth going back through these because there are notes on most of them now. But these 9 are the ones that remain, including that quick receive. I think I heard somebody talk about earlier in quick receive. It's been tried and tested, but it still needs a little bit of work. And some of these are only unique for libraries that use hold groups or that use where the others. Shelving location groups, if you don't use those, it's probably not critical, but if you do, it is very critical to be able to use those without the traditional catalog. Okay, now I've kept you all over a little longer. I just wanted to make sure that I at least let you know that I have updated this page in our wiki, so you don't just have to go to Launchpad now and search for those blockers. And I've got a few notes to add here. Cat Fest we'll talk about later. I was just going to make an announcement that we'll start planning in the summer. And for you brave souls that are still here, our next meeting's July 9th. And anybody have anything else you want to chat about while we're here together? Nope. Okay.
I just have a question.
Sure
Talking about the holdings template editor to make sure I'm understanding. Is this different than the one that's under the local administration menu?
It is the one under local administration.
So is the bug asking for that to be left as is?
It's saying it needs to do the same things that the one in the holdings editor does. Let me see if I can.
Oh, I didn't realize that they did different things.
They do different things. This is
Because I only ever used the one under the local admins. That might be why I didn't realize they did different things.
Yeah. So here's your holdings template editor. You notice how you just have these limited boxes here. You don't have anything about the holdings. So there's nothing about prefix, suffix,
right,
classification, that sort of thing. You don't have several of the other, we're missing some basic things here, like we've added cost and it's not there now. So you don't have all of the options on this list.
You can.
You can.
I think in the setting the defaults, which is also only accessible, as far as I know, from the bib record, go to add holdings.
But does that also change the local admin? If you do that. So let's go to here. So if I'm in, I just need the item done. That's the item table. Yeah. I just want to get it done.
So if you go to the add holdings.
Oh, perfect. I was going to try to work one that's already there, but you're right. There we go. So add holdings. Yeah, you can change
and
that
then
in
you
the
go
preferences.
to the right.
But if I make that change here, so let's say specifically I want to see cost and price, and they're both displaying here in holdings, right?
Right.
But if I go to local admin, I just have price. I don't have cost.
Well, I was talking about the parts, or not the parts, but the prefix and call number. If you go to the preferences, at least there is currently a way that you can include that in the holdings template editor.
But only in the holdings template editor, not in local admin. Right. Because local admin doesn't have anything at the holdings level. It doesn't have anything here for the classification, prefix, call number, label.
Well, it does if you show it.
Here in
the preferences, yeah.
But I'm under local admin.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
You have to set the preferences in the other to view it.
Did that. Well, I undid the hide. So here they are.
Well, no. Hold on. Could you go back to preferences so that I can? So there's somewhere. Let me
And
see.
showing part. This would be really cool if there's a way to do
it. Because there is a way that it says, at least in 374, that you can
Oh, it got broke
view
after
it.
374. Is in 374, has the holdings editor been moved to Angular? Well, yeah, because if you have preferences, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, so holdings detail defaults allow call number attributes in items templates is one of the checkboxes.
Okay. Can you read that again? Holdings. Phone number. I think they've broken it out since then into the individual components.
Because when I go to the holdings editor or holdings template editor, I can put in prefixes and suffixes and a generic call number if I want.
So if you do this instead, let me just go here. So if you go to admin, local admin, and holdings
template editor, yeah. I will see at the top the settings. Let me close this because it's my computer is being very slow right now, so that's why.
Carol, which version of Evergreen are you on?
374.
Okay.
So that's why this hasn't been updated.
Yeah, and that's one of the blockers, right? It's the reason you're not updating, I think, is one of the reasons.
Yeah, there are
several.
A few reasons, yes. Although we're discussing later this month whether we're going to finally go through with it and to what. Well, this isn't showing. Evergreen's been a bit wonky for me the last couple of days.
Well, Will, in general, we think there's a disconnect between what you see in local admin and what you see in holdings. Certainly there's if you create one, and I'll go back through and test these, but if you create one in local holdings, it doesn't automatically show up. If I'm remembering correctly, over in the holdings editor, you have to log out and back in to make it show. Little things like that, but
gotcha.
Well, I do think we need to spend time.
Yeah, I can send a screenshot.
Yeah, that'd be great.
To the list, and then people can see whether there's actually a way to do it in later versions.
Yeah. And I think there's another bug out there that was actually resolved about the whole, if you create one and being able to toggle back and forth between them. But yeah, so we'll test again and see what's missing so that we can document specifically the functionality that we're missing, I guess, instead of just saying we want it all back. I guess it could be a little more specific there. Oh, wrong bug, but yeah, and I would be very interested to see what happened between 374 and I think I'm using 311 now just to fill in. Elizabeth, do you see in the local admin?
I'm not seeing it, but Joni put something in the comments. So I'm seeing call number attributes classification on 311.5. But I'm not seeing it. I'm also on 311.5. I'm wondering if it's because I don't have any prefixes.
No, because you should be able to add one if you don't have one.
I don't recall being, going all the way back to Zool. I just simply don't recall if we could do that. But they were connected back then. They were the same screen. Yeah, and I agree the save button is really badly placed in this at the top. Yeah.
So if I added in the preferences that I should see them, and I'm not hiding anything at all. Like, so I should theoretically see it on the local administration. And I'm not. Is it like a library setting?
I don't know. And I'm also wondering if you've done any kind of custom work to make your life better over there in CW Myers.
I mean, it's possible, but we've had it. I don't recall it being something that they say, Jason does some magic for us.
Right. Well, Joni's in another library, so that wouldn't be it.
I can also see what, because I think we've got 310 on our development server. I can see what it
Oh, Joni just dropped it. Screenshot this. Let's see if I have this.
Look at that. That's nice.
Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Proof positive, Joni. Thank you. But it's somewhere it's out there. And Joni is on 311.5. Okay, that has to be a system setting then, doesn't library setting. This is very enlightening.
Maybe a global flag?
Maybe. Now we're just gonna find out. Well, okay. We've gone way over time. So we just stop recording though, because now we're just recording us researching. I'll cut that in.